Navigating Business Anxiety and the Power of Words. Welcome to MarComTech-niques podcast, a podcast about marketing communications and technology. We help shape future conversations by exploring ideas that shape mindset, management styles, business journeys that influence industries through thought leadership. I'm your host, Jacqueline Cremona. So in today's episode, I wanted to be more vulnerable and sharing my anxiety and where it comes from. And it's important to identify the triggers. And what better person to help navigate your PR and marketing communications with your business than a person who has experienced everything just like you. I will also talk about issues with navigating and networking groups. I still chose to be myself. You have to be prepared to not always be welcome and be okay with it. You will be rejected in places and where you don't belong, and will be accepted in all the right places. With that said, it can be challenging to differentiate between typical everyday business anxiety and more concerning feelings that may not be normal. Sometimes it can be challenging because you're always thinking about deals, closing deals, getting customers, and keeping customers. These are all natural business anxiety. Here's where branding really helps. Everyone thinks branding is about how many followers you have. And yes, it does matter in today's market. Attention wins. But branding starts with experience before it leads to followers. People deal with anxiety, whether it is a long-lasting anxiety or daily normal anxiety. It is common practice to view children as immature for expressing their thoughts, while adults who are regarded as mature because they reserve their thoughts. As a result, the adults pop anxiety pills in order to calm their fight with their own bodies. The body doesn't like to live in lies. It manifests lies in sickness, anxiety, panic attacks, and illnesses that take over your body for lying, or by omitting the entire truth. It is the body screaming for you to tell the truth. But we live in a society where we tell children not to lie and never take drugs. But we lie in front of our children with pleasantries while greeting other adults, and then we pop anxiety pills to control our nerves because we are forced to be frauds. Then we turn around and tell our children, you can be anything you want in life. But what we're really showing them is, you can be anything you want but yourself. How sick have our communities become when you can't be yourself because it isn't polite? If your ideas offend everyone, then it isn't polite. Lying at one time was seen as impolite, deceptive, rude, disingenuous. The harsh truth of reality will always mean uncomfortableness and growth. Some people rather live with the comfortableness of lies and deception because the truth will force them to grow and change. Some communities dislike the truth because it's implying accountability and change. Intuitiveness doesn't have systems. It comes on gut instincts and emotional intelligence. I looked up a number of people who experience anxiety, and there are a lot of people who experience it. I've seen everything from taking Valium to beta blockers, from public speaking to other anxiety-related social issues. Public speaking is a huge part of this. You could see it in some who are over-rehearsed with fear in their eyes, but they're still doing it. Their eyes are a bit glazed over as they concentrate on looking dead in the camera, while others hide it better. I myself need to practice more. I was at one point good at public speaking, and my anxiety has completely taken over. Do people hide it better, or is it just the trained muscle memory that they fall into from years of just doing it anyway? I posted on June 18, 2024 on social media that stated, "Fear never made me into a coward." What does that mean? I do things even when I'm scared, mostly because I don't have a choice, or more so because I want something done. That gets stored up in the body, so much so that it has graduated to panic attacks, which can last for hours or days. All of these feelings reside in the body and manifest as nervousness, which we know is associated with being untrustworthy. So imagine when I speak to clients, meaning when you present yourself, you're not presenting yourself in the most calmest form because of the schedule, time, or circumstances do not permit. There are many communities for women, but just because the initiative fits doesn't mean you'll fit into the culture. That can cause more anxiety in business as well. When my children were smaller, I used to get up at 4:45 in the morning, put a load in the washer, and go and shower and give myself a fresh blowout and makeup to match my mood, and always manage to get a workout in. Not everyone wants to be reminded that you do that every morning, and they don't. You make enemies quickly in the female world. They will start to remind you that you don't need makeup. You're beautiful just the way you are. Code for stop making us feel bad and stop doing that and showing off, when it really is for myself and to keep me moving daily. If you dress well and look good, you end up feeling good about yourself and you carry yourself differently. People will pull you down. It all depends on where they stand from you. They will tell on themselves, below you or above you. And your personality is your brand in business, whether you want to admit it or not. My brand is all about, and always has been about, my signature look, diamonds and pearls, onyx or gold. It isn't about you, but me, and makes me get through my day. The rock glam or just the glam, casual glam or simply casual. It is all me. Personal style does not need validation. It is just what it is. It is who I am. So let's talk about manifesting and speaking words into the universe. What does that mean? I spoke about this in a past episode called The Executioner of Business. It'll be in the show notes. And I wanted to go in deeper on this subject and how I see it. If you look at Emoto, the message from water, there are experiments in which vibrational energy affects the molecular structure of water. So your thoughts, sound, and words affect the molecular structure of anything that comprises of water. Our bodies are made of water. The majority of it is water. So think about your thoughts, and it vibrates and changes your entire body on a molecular level. Think about you holding in things you should not be holding as your thoughts, or not being your genuine self. But where did I get that perspective from? Speaking words into the universe? I got it from the Book of Books, a book with many books in it. And one of the books is called Genesis. In the second verse of the first chapter, it mentions water, how his spirit moved upon the face of the waters. And in the third verse, God speaks things into existence. He spoke light into existence. Although he breathed us into existence, molding us as he still does today spiritually, he told us we are made in his image. So that means that we can speak words into the universe and create as well. Of course, not on his level, but we have the power in us. So we can create and destroy with words. So you can choose to be creative or be like our creator with the choice of words you use. So when I speak words into existence, I really believe this to be true. And I do believe it is a superpower hidden in our tongue. You have people with experiments, but you already had the whole world before you that was spoken into existence as proof that there is power in words. When you look up the beautiful sky that meets green fields, it is the most beautiful artwork ever created by spoken word. No brush, just words. Just imagine you are trying to close a deal and you look a little nervous or a bit of a wreck. The amygdala, the small part of the brain that is associated with nervousness and anxiety, is betraying you in every sale. People have a knack for projecting their fears onto you. So when they see any type of nervousness, they deflect their issues onto you. This is where I catch a glimpse of their fear sometimes. And sometimes I can sense they don't understand what is happening and why I appear the way I do. In release energy, I can sense their energy. The thing is, everyone will tell you to get up and do things even when you don't want to do them. That approach may be effective for a while, but eventually you will burn out and your body will demand that you stop and make a change. Your body eventually ends up betraying you in some form. It shows up in anxiety and nervousness. Your thoughts are vibrating through your body and telling on you. Words are thoughts before they're spoken. So imagine how powerful your thoughts are if your words are just as powerful. God envisioned the word in his thoughts and then spoke it into existence. Since we were made in his image, I suppose that's what happened. Now, anxiety is different from panic attacks. I want to talk about panic attacks. Your heart starts to race, your breathing changes, and the feeling of dread happens. Some people call it fear, but I want to be more accurate. I don't fear it necessarily because it comes from a place of being tired of dealing with it. As I stated before, I'm not into being in an altered state of mind on my Facebook post. I'd rather not take any type of medication for it. I'd rather create my own homeostasis, my own balance. If thoughts can create imbalance, then thoughts with intention can reverse it. Our bodies are natural manufacturers of hormones that we can create. We have built-in lab through our thoughts and words. So where do these panic attacks start and how can I stop them so I can be more productive in business? I truly don't have time for this. What trigger them? Can I control the triggers? When was my last episode of panic attacks and how can I break that down? When was my last episode of panic attacks and how can I break that down? How do I get my mind and body in alignment? Well, I trace back my panic attacks and examine when I got them. But first, let's distinguish between anxiety and panic attacks. Panic attacks are unpredictable episodes of dread and fear with rapid heart rate and shortness of breath. The emotional impact of panic attacks often includes feelings of losing control or fear or dread, while anxiety attacks involve worry or dread about specific concerns. So anxiety, unfortunately, is pretty normal if you are an entrepreneur. You can count on having them. It's part of the journey and there is no getting around it. The only thing you can do is plan as much as possible to avoid as much uncertainty as possible, hence lowering your anxiety issues. But these panic attacks, these are something way beyond the scope that I want in my life. These are not normal, and I can't continue to live like this, and I refuse to take drugs for them. This is just me. Everyone's different, and I'm not a doctor. With that said, I sat down to think about when I got those panic attacks that later formed habits in my business during sales calls or business meetings. I need to get rid of this and get rid of it fast. Why did any aggression from a potential client make me shut down? And why did others send me on a high-speed chase with my heartbeat? This really felt like an unreasonable response for a business interaction. I was in sales before, and this didn't happen before. I was always in control. You have to direct the meeting because you are the one solving the problems. So why is this happening to me? This seems to escalate every year to the point that it's become debilitating. So I had to sit down and really tap into my mind and my body's reaction. We always have a masterclass guru with all-encompassing answer to all mental awareness issues. And one of them is you have to get out of your head. I don't think so. I don't overthink. This does not apply to me. There seems to be something else, a stored memory in my body that needs to be dealt with. After all, I need to get back to business. I need to get over this. So when I sat down and revisited when I got panic attacks, here's what I came up with. When I had a court date, I didn't eat all day. And on top of it, I would get panic attacks. The magistrate or the judge would give me a breather moment. I didn't want to be there and I didn't want to deal with it. Everything in my body said to run. I should do a podcast segment solely on navigating through divorce issues and business. It is still pending because he's stonewalling on a settlement to keep me in this loop because assets are involved. But we're already divorced and he originally fell into contempt and then he filed a suit against me as well. And so we're in this loop that we can't get out, which we can. He just needs to settle. He originally had a settlement, but he reneged. He just stonewalls. There's always some excuse as to why it can't be finalized. Number 2, I had an emergency room incident in where he lost his temper, but he downplayed it. He has gotten physical with his adult daughters too. The last time was at their college campus. Number 3, he requested an email to be sent to him and his attorney. He asked me to outline the terms of trespassing on the property to only later use it as a guideline of intimidation and trespass on the property. There's other things, other issues that I probably will discuss later on. Number 4, when my daughter had to contact the state prosecutor's office to consider pressing charges against her father, he was using his boss as a guise for a forced interaction. His children are estranged from him, so he forces interactions. He also has anger issues in dealing with his daughters. Here's the thing about business. I strongly believe the way you behave in privacy of your own home leaks into your professional life, one way or the other. For instance, if you do something unethical in business, it can cause some lawsuits that will financially affect your business. If you do something in your private life, in your personal time, it can also leak into your business life. When there is a hole in a boat, you can't just keep using a bucket to remove the water from the boat. You have to address the leakage to the problem. You have to remove the problem first. My daughters make sure to maneuver outside of his circles to avoid flying monkeys and toxic environments that are masked as community. Not everyone has emotional intelligence to understand personality issues, or some just don't care. Either way, people love charisma and titles. So is anxiety part of life and business? Absolutely. Understanding our triggers and eliminating them is essential instead of going full speed ahead with a hole in a boat. Whether your business is a startup or an old engine running, you have to remember that we are in the people business. Everything's not about systems and processes, meaning there is no business without people. In the age of AI, what will make you stand out more is your value proposition, and that is your human connection and human problem-solving skills. So let's stop shutting people down about their problems like it is something we don't discuss in public, when problem solving is a framework for all businesses. It runs our economy. If you have a problem, we can fix it. But remember, not all problems should be transactional. Learn to invest in just being a friend. You will learn those opportunities are great to earn trust and later loyalty in business. Thank you for joining us on MarComTech-niques podcast. I hope you enjoy this episode. And remember, if you're experiencing panic attacks or anxiety and you feel overwhelmed, at least try to do one thing a day and complete that. You'll move further than not doing anything at all. Thank you for joining us on our podcast. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notifications, follow us, like, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.